I didn't usually take this way home, but I thought it would have been quicker. Work had taken longer than anticipated, and now I was walking home down an empty street, and it was already getting dark. The street seemed to go on forever, and I almost thought it would until I saw the alley. A weak beam from a street light above barely lit its entrance. I almost ran toward it, like a moth to a flame, but something wasn't right. I could see someone standing just beyond the light's reach. I have never been brave. No one is ever brave. It was curiosity and stupidity that made me creep forward so I could get a better look at the figure in the shadows. I didn't see a monster, or a serial killer like I'd expected. Just a little girl. Her hair was long and blonde, and she was wearing a baby blue dress, almost the same shade as her eyes. Our eyes locked, and she smiled really big, revealing a dimple on her left cheek. She started to wave me over, and I almost left the safety of the dim light, but something wasn't right. Little girls in dark alleys at night just wasn't normal. I stayed in the light and motioned for the little girl to come to me. She shook her head and stamped her feet, waving me over frantically. Scared out of my mind now, I just shook my head and stepped back away from the alley, ready to run. She continued to wave me over, her attempts becoming desperate as I put more distance between us. Then it happened. The darkness of the alley seemed to blow out over the little girl. It even ate at the dim light from the street lamp. I turned to run, but her scream stopped me in my tracks. It was short, but her terror was obvious. There was an unnatural silence, and then a few awful, wet gasps. Stupidity won over once more, and I turned. The little girl was still just standing there, just beyond the streetlight, a large dark stain spreading across the light blue fabric of her dress. Chains rattled, and then I saw him further down the alley. He held a large, dirty chain in one hand. His other pale arm was waving at me. He was tall and bony. The thin skin stretched over his bones was the color of an ugly bruise. His eyes bulged out of his head. They were black and shiny, like the glass eyes of a teddy bear. I couldn't move or even scream. He smiled at me, revealing a few rows of needle-like teeth as he gave the large chain in his hand a flick. The little girl's body jerked like a marionette, a large hook protruding from her chest. She screamed again, and I smelled something like sulfur in the air. There was an odd popping noise, and the sounds of the night returned. I continued to stare into the darkness of the alley as I gasped for air, everything inside of me screaming for me to run, but I was afraid to turn away. The streetlight above me flickered, and I finally regained my ability to think and took off running. Shortcuts were overrated.